If you ever wondered what no dig gardening or no dig planting is, it's commonly referred to as just no dig, then here's a very quick, simple explanation. Here is cardboard. That's cardboard, we all know that's cardboard. That there is very well mulched or broken down, decomposed soil and mulch. It's basically garden waste that's been sat for many years, and it's very well broken down, and it is absolutely packed full of nutrients. And then over there we have wood chip, and this is wood chip we get from a local arborist, which he kindly dumps on the land. So this is so simple. All you need, I mean, you can use newspapers, you can use cardboard. It doesn't even matter if it's got ink on it, because these days they don't use nasty chemicals and leads and things like that, heavy metals anymore. So it really doesn't matter. But what you want to do is make sure you remove any staples or any parcel tape from your card. If you've got any, you don't want plastic and you don't want staples in the ground. We've got hold of this, which is just corrugated card. You can buy it pretty much anywhere online. It's very straightforward, simple stuff. It's a bit more rigid than just a bit of newspaper, although difficult to get newspapers these days. Just lay this down, and we're doing 2 metre wide beds, as you can see here. So we're laying this side by side, but overlapping it by about 4 or 5 inches, so that we don't get grass and weeds coming up. So by putting this, what we've done is just mowed the lawn. We've mowed the field. It's just easier to mow it than to get a flail in here. And we purposely kept it slightly long. We haven't cut it too short, because there's a lot of clover and different grasses in here that we feel are going to be beneficial to the soil when it starts to decompose and break down, feeding all that bioactivity within the soil that's already existing. And we've done a few soil tests on the soil, and it is absolutely packed full of worms, which is great, but it's just very heavy clay soil, incredibly heavy clay soil. So the idea of the no dig method is eventually this will all decompose and get mixed up within the existing clay soil. So once you've put this down, all you need to do is put your compost, or in our case we've got quite a lot of this soil mulch down, which you can see over there. There's a huge pile of it, probably about 40 tons, which was kindly donated by our neighbour. So we would cover that cardboard with about 3 to 4 inches of that soil, and then what we do there is top it with the wood chip. So we put about a couple of inches probably of wood chip on top, and that's all we need to do. And then when we come to planting, all we do is we just brush aside the wood chip, and then we lay the seeds within this soil, which is very fertile, broken down mulch, decomposed mulch, and cover it back up with the wood chip, and it's good to go. So what you'll find is that the moisture will be retained underneath the wood chip within that soil and within the ground. It might dry up if we have a long drought, but the purpose of it is the wood chip almost, if you like, insulates the soil, so it keeps the heat away from the soil, stops it from drying out, and any evaporation will find it very difficult to escape through the wood chip. We've done this before, and we've had 3-4 weeks of blistering hot sunshine, and the soil underneath, only about 2 inches deep, has still been moist. But we have got swales up here. I'll show you the swales quickly. So the swales here will irrigate this area here, and there is another swale slightly down below. So this swale we haven't really had much rain for the last week and a bit, but it's just now, it was actually level and it's now just dropping. So this is actually seeping into the ground, down the hill, down the slope, so it will irrigate everything that's going in here. So that's the purpose of the swale. The purpose of the logs is because they will break down, and it provides good nutrients into the water, which will then get forced and pushed into the soil. So that's a simple way of doing or getting your no dig beds laid down. The downside of the no dig is if you haven't got access to the materials or the medium, for example the soil and the wood chip, it can cost quite a lot of money. Some people use compost. They will actually go out and buy compost and lay the compost on top of the card, and then they'll top it with wood chip which they've purchased, and it can get really expensive. And we've on this particular bed here, this is 10 meters long, and we've used, trying to think, probably about 12 wheelbarrows full. So it's nearly probably a whole bag, commercial size sort of, dumpy bag. And depending on how much you can get your compost for, it ranges between sort of 40 and 100 quid a bag. So that can be quite an expensive way of doing it. But in fairness, all we need to do now every spring or autumn is just top this up with the wood chip, because eventually it'll all decompose. The worms and the biological activity will actually force that down into that clay soil and turn it for us. So we will eventually end up with probably a good 4 to 6 inches, maybe even more, of a very, very beautiful sort of medium within the soil, and it'll be nice and soft and workable. At the moment though, the ground is, even now, with the sun 22 degrees, 21 degrees, you can feel it starting to bake. It gets very hot. So this will actually work to mitigate the problems with the soil drying out and becoming very hard. Here's a little patch that we actually dug, and you can see it gets so hard and it's lifeless almost when it's like this. But if you dig down deep enough, 2 or 3 inches, maybe a bit more, you will actually see that there's quite a lot of worms. And what we want to do with these no dig beds is we want to draw those worms up. And I've just checked this patch here that we did yesterday, and the card is already wet. You can see that the card there is already wet. So that's underneath that card, it will provide a really it provides the ideal environment for the biology, the life and microorganisms and everything else. You can see we've had a deer tread on here or something. Look at that. Yeah, that's a deer. We have got deer here. We've got lots of deer. They actually hide in that grass at the top, which is kind of beautiful. It's not so beautiful when you've planted all your veg and you come down and it's all gone. So we have got to work a system, a fencing system, that doesn't stop them from actually travelling through the land. It just stops them getting in here. But yeah, so that's a very, it was supposed to be quick, but it's nearly 8.5 minutes. But that's just a quick explanation on no dig. If you've not heard of it before, or you wondered what it was, it's actually a very simple method. But like I said, it can be costly if you don't have access to free resources. We were fortunate that we have an arborist just around the corner, and he provides the wood chip, and the neighbour provided us with all the soil that was from a previous landscaper who had been dumping it there for the best part of 15 to 20 years, and he didn't want it. So just to give you an idea, this is the sort of stuff that we are using, and that is absolutely beautiful. There is a lot of worms in there, but because of the heat they're all going down deeper to the bottom, but we found loads. So I hope that was some good information that you could use. Maybe not. Anyway, thanks for watching.